Winging it. Chicken winging it.
What's up, everybody? We're coming to you live.
Hey, yeah.
Oh,
Hey, yeah. Oh, oh.
Shake it, shake it, shake
Oh,
it,
oh.
shake it.
Shake it like a Polaroid picture.
All right.
Beyonce's
Lucy
Lose.
All right, guys. Welcome to the Doom Ninja podcast. Let me just make sure we're not getting some sound feedback.
I don't know. What the hell? I just zoomed into this tablet with one finger.
All right, so today's going to be a unique episode. We're having some hardware issues on Ryan's end.
Failure.
So might be a little bumpier than usual, but we should get it. We should be fine.
Yeah. Maybe Thursday will sound slightly worse. I don't know. I'm going to sound the same. This is the same microphone that I use, but Nate's going to be using a different microphone.
It might sound a little different for me.
Yeah.
Maybe better.
Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. So welcome to the live recording of episode 28 of the Doom Ninja podcast. We thank you for joining us. Today is a special episode for multiple reasons.
Special episode.
We're going to start doing our giveaways this week.
Dead giveaway.
So we're going to give away a copy of XCOM 2.
Boom, we're starting hard. $60 game.
$60 game. That's pretty baller to start off with. We're going to do that as we're talking about it. So that's kind of the important part, is you have to stick around till we talk about it. Promise we won't bury it till the very end of the episode to where you feel like you're listening for an hour for something.
Now, we usually do studio updates at the end of everything, and that runs for a little while. So
yep.
If you're just here to get a game, just hang tight.
Yeah.
It won't be long.
So a couple things. If you look below us on Twitch, you'll see links for doombrowski.com. It's a website that you can check out the games Ryan's making, and you can also check out all the back issues of the podcast itself. Additionally, there is a link to Patreon.
Yeah.
Patreon helps support everything you see here. So it helps support the game creation. It helps support this podcast. And you get some perks. And it's really easy to get some perks. It's as low as 25 cents. 25 cents, you get the podcast early, and you also get your name kind of shouted out every week. So
yeah,
as low as 25 cents. So any bit helps us keep this going and slowly improve things. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get started. We're going to start with some stats.
Stats.
Yep. I can just hit record on mine and start talking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is going to be a new interesting show.
Yeah.
All right. So anyone who just now joining hasn't seen us before or is watching this on the video on demand later, we record in segments. So you'll see us talk and do setup between segments. And then we magically put them together for the audio version you'll see Thursday or Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on if you're a Patreon backer. So, all right. Ryan, it's a new month.
Is it?
It is. It's February.
February. I heard about this month.
Yeah.
Seems really familiar.
Yeah, it's happened probably like 20-something times in your life.
Yeah, 30-something times.
Yeah. Yeah, for me it's happened 38 times because last week I turned 38.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's a couple.
So let's do some stats. I'm going to preemptively do one. Before the next episode, we're going to have hit 2,000 plays.
Are you sure?
Based on just the traction we've got every week, we're going to be, by the time we get here next Monday, we'll be at like 2,060 or so.
I watched an episode of Black Mirror last night that tells you to not count your chickens before they hatch because something could go painfully wrong.
Well, I'm going to count it and say congrats to us on 2,000 listens. The cool thing is it took us 18 episodes to get the first 1,000, and it took us 10 to get the second 1,000. Well, technically 7.5 to get the second 1,000.
Okay.
So that's pretty good growth.
So we're going to shoot for 3.5 episodes
next week. Yeah. So, as we've done in the past and kind of on the monthly update, we want to give shout outs to people who have taken the time out of their day to give us a listen, which I don't think will ever be enough to say thank you for taking time to, just give our, I don't know, I'm trying to get weepy about this, our comments and talking and thoughts a chance. So, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, United States will always be our top country, but we are an international podcast.
Oh, yeah. I mean, my company's an international branching company.
True. United Kingdom has securely taken the second. They're actually starting to pull ahead. We're getting a lot more UK listeners, which is pretty cool. Canada is going to be number 3, Australia number 4, and Denmark.
It's most southern way to say it.
Denmark is going to round out our top 5. So I appreciate that. Just quickly through Germany, Sweden, South Africa, Brazil, France, Ukraine, Russia, Netherlands, Somalia, India. I mean, and more. There's we have one of us in what's the weirdest one? Guatemala, Malta.
I wonder how many of these are some weird bots that are just sitting in somebody's closet that randomly pick out things.
It's more than one though. All the ones I just read have more than one listen. They're all in the 5s or more.
Weird. Maybe they like ninjas or something. They're just looking for ninja. Oh, that's a new ninja. Doom. What is a Doom ninja? And they said apparently it's garbage. And they listen to it and they hear my voice. And my coughing all the time.
Yeah. So top cities. Our number 1 city is Ashburn, Virginia. Again, which whatever's going on in Ashburn, it's 120 listens. So that's more than one person. It's got to be. Then we got San Francisco, California. Then Winter Haven. So our local town and friends and family are 3rd. Mountain View, California. Chicago, Illinois. Manchester. England, Manchester.
England.
Swanee, Georgia. Orlando, Florida. And Nashville, Tennessee round out the top 10. Actually, top 10's tie. Lakeland, Florida, which is also right down the street from us.
Where's Lakeland in the top 10? Is it at 10?
It's 11 by 2. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then
it's really strange that so many are not local.
Yep. And then we have Victoria, Canada, which I believe that is our Gonna Geek Network brother.
Oh, yeah?
Steven, he lives up there. So thanks everyone who listens. Again, we can't appreciate it enough. And keep listening some more because we're going to keep doing this for a while. We like it. You all seem to like it.
And sometimes we may have you listening to some s'mores just to hear what they sound like. They probably sound delicious.
Did I say s'mores or something?
No, you should listen some more. You're like,
I was like,
what did I do? Mind control to Major Nate.
That's the best way to end that segment is you singing. Okay, export audio. So that was the first segment. Where are you going? 28.
We usually record in chunks. So we'll record one piece of it so we don't have to keep going on and on and on and have weird little in-between parts like this part. People won't hear this on the episode that gets released on Thursday. It'll have little going in between it. It's going to have sweet little techno beats that I made going between the segments.
True, you are. I don't know if people realize that you make the segment segues.
Yeah, I made all of it. I made the intro music,
and the outro music.
Yeah,
I like I like the fade out, like the
epic choir thing.
Yeah,
epic choir time.
All right, so we're gonna go into news. We got some news, Ryan.
Do we?
Yeah, we got 2 things today.
Does it have to do with the screwdriver in my hand right now?
I'm worried. So the first one, we're gonna talk about Blizzard.
Dairy Queen?
Yeah. Blizzard just banned a ton of people on Overwatch.
Okay. What were they doing?
Released a warning. They were all Korean players, it looks like.
That's racist.
Yeah, it is a little bit.
Don't be racist.
So they straight up gave a warning that Overwatch players on Xbox One and PlayStation 4 not to use keyboard and mouse.
Wait. Okay. Xbox users not to use keyboard and mouse.
And PlayStation 4. So console users not to use keyboard and mouse.
Are these offered for Xbox and PlayStation 4 as things, or are people modding to be able to use them?
There's connectors that you can buy to make them work. Now, Xbox One is basically a PC. It supports plug and play. I have a keyboard attached to my laptop or my Xbox for typing in Netflix and passwords and stuff. Just makes it way easier.
Gotcha.
I've never tried a mouse, but I was reading an article brought to us by it's express.co.uk. I want to give a little shout out to the person who wrote the article. But they said there's basically third-party adapters that'll allow you to use a keyboard and mouse, which if everyone's using a keyboard and mouse, you have the same accuracy, right? So PC users use keyboard and mouse, a lot more accuracy, which is why I always played first-person shooters on PC. You have a little less accuracy and reaction time with a controller just because the nature of the beast.
That sounded interesting.
What?
You split the word controller in half and then said controller after it? They have a little less accuracy with the controller?
I stuttered.
Oh man,
leave me alone.
I wonder if they're worried about people with the Steam controllers, because a lot of people said, well, at least when it came out, I haven't used it, so I don't know, that it was supposed to be very close to the accuracy of a mouse and keyboard. It's supposed to be more accurate than a regular controller.
The quote is, "We've lobbied and will continue to lobby for first-party console manufacturers to either disallow mouse and keyboard and input conversion devices," which is the thing that lets you do this, "or openly and easily support mouse and keyboard for all players." So they don't want an advantage given to any subsect of console users because it is a competitive game. They have championships. They have ways to win money through these contests and tournaments. So they want everyone on the same even playing ground. What are your thoughts?
I think people are going to be salty no matter how they do it. Since Xbox doesn't come standard as like a mouse and keyboard console, then I don't know. I get where they're coming from. Like I would think if you're playing on a console, you should use controllers. I mean, that's what it comes with is controllers.
Yeah.
The fact that it has the availability to use a mouse and keyboard, get good with the controller. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, what else are you gonna do? No, people are always gonna be doing that. How do you crack down on something like that? Like, is there some sort of code in the back end that's like they're using a mouse and keyboard?
I would assume it would have to be something that, I'm slightly talking my butt terminology, but like an API, an Xbox would have to be like the game could call to it and be like, Xbox, is this input detected? If yes, disable or something. I think they would have to make it to where developers could call upon that function. Blizzard has said they encourage you to reach out to hardware manufacturers and express your concerns. And then in parentheses, which almost is like, a side note, do it in a productive and respectful way because they know people are going to kind of rage a little bit. I understand where you're coming from, especially if you're in the competitive circuit, because there's now ranking, kind of like League of Legends. There's levels, and people take it real serious. And if someone has an advantage just from hardware that negates some gameplay, I can understand the frustration.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have that competitiveness in me, so I can't really say for sure. But I watch plenty of people who do. I used to watch like League of Legends streams and stuff for a long time, and I get where it's some people's livelihoods. They could be a little pissed that somebody else is kind of taken from it.
Yeah, I can understand, especially if you're streaming, and obviously if you're streaming, you can't rock a keyboard and a mouse on the Xbox if you're streaming on Twitch. Or you could potentially get in trouble. But if you're playing against a bunch of people who are, and you're getting slaughtered, that could actually hurt your Twitch stream. I don't think they care too much about other people's stream health, but I don't know. I thought it was pretty interesting to have someone issue a warning, which, see, I linked this to Napster back in the day. You remember Napster?
Yes, I remember Napster.
I had never heard of Napster until news broke about Napster. I didn't know there was a thing called, you could download, I didn't know what torrents were. I didn't know that there was file sharing. I literally was trying to find songs online that were streamed. Like, this is all pre-YouTube. This is like 1999.
Streamed.
Like, I
stream anything.
I click an MP3 link and it just plays there's no playlists. It was like I had bookmarks of like 50 songs I liked, and you just kind of clicked each one and then had to click the next link.
I remember sitting and waiting for them to download forever, like through Kazaa or Napster or Morpheus or all that old stuff.
So the reason I bring that up is I didn't know this was an issue until reading this article. And this article was trending on any kind of gaming news. And so someone who may not even known that was a potential way of getting an advantage now knows because of the media reporting it. So it's kind of a catch-22.
The little Chinese adapter companies are going to be banking.
Yeah.
These little $5 adapter, whatever they need for it. Bear Share, Cheddar Monkey knows.
Oh wow. Yeah, we got
That's
New Killer Plane.
still around.
They remember Napster. And we got Cheddar Monkey. Yeah, Bear Share. In my less ethical days, I used Bear Share because I liked it way better.
Well, that's when it was a dating site, wasn't it?
Something completely different. What was the one? What was the one I hated? LimeWire. That was it. That's from Anon Tech on our live stream in Twitch chat. I hated that so much because every time I tried something on LimeWire, it crashed or it was something that had viruses in it. It was just garbage.
Yeah, there was a ton
every
of
single
that.
time. But actually, that's not the same thing. So second news item we're going to go into is about Steam. As you know, we play a lot of PC gaming. Was that your Steam impression?
That sound.
So Steam went down for a little bit on the 2nd of February. So
I didn't
this
notice.
wasn't a maintenance go down, which happens every once in a while, like they kind of refresh their servers. This was an outage, and a lot of people obviously get perturbed because of the way Steam works. So all of your eggs are in one basket, right? You have potentially all of your PC games, if you bought them all through Steam, are all housed in the Steam library.
Mm-hmm.
And if Steam's offline, depending on how things are set up, you may not be able to play your games.
Some. Well, especially like if you're playing online with somebody, like playing an online game, then you're SOL.
And offline mode is a weird little beast. Did you know to enable offline mode, you have to go online first?
No, because I've had offline mode enabled for such a long time.
Yeah, so if you don't have offline mode enabled, you have to be connected online and then go under your settings to enable offline mode. So if you've never done this, which drives me up a wall, if you've never done this, there is instances where you can't play your games. As Cheddar Monkey pointed out, you can run some things on LAN or offline mode, but sometimes you have to preset this up when you're online, which seems backwards. You shouldn't have to. I mean, maybe it's a way to stop hacking or people from doing shenanigans with the game. Because I had a friend who, he will remain nameless, illegally grabs games, and half of them include a little mod that stops Steam from kicking in. So I wonder. Is
his name John?
No.
Jacob?
No.
Jingleheimer?
You know him.
Jingleheimer! I knew it was
Jingleheimer.
Jingleheimer.
So a lot of it is like some online games like CS:GO, Dota 2. They don't work when Steam's down, but
those games are huge.
Those games are huge. So yeah, when they're down, that's crazy. I mean, you think there'd be some sort of workaround, or I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, some way to overcome it when Steam goes down, because a lot of it was the Steam login server was going down. So if you were already logged in, it worked. If you couldn't get logged in, I still can't play my games. So if I turn my computer on, the login service is down, I want to play CS:GO, boom, I'm sorry. No headshots.
How long was it down?
About 4 hours.
Oh. They can deal with it.
Yeah.
4 hours of your life you're not able to play a game.
Well, but think about it, like I used to work more towards the evening, so I would get up from 8 to noon was my gaming time. If it was down for that, you would just cry. It was just like my morning is wasted. So Company Spear on the Twitch makes a good point. The worst part about offline mode is achievements don't work. And I'm an achievement hunter a lot of times, especially if I really like a game, just because it's the self-gratification and kind of it shows other people. You get the cards in your inventory. So yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. I remember a specific time where I was playing through, what was it? Shit. Darksiders 2. I started on, I began the game on normal mode, and then like as soon as I got into the game, it lets you change your mode, and I was like, I want to do it on hard mode. I beat the first one, and it was really easy, so let's do hard mode. And I got through the game on like hard or nightmare or whatever it's called, and it did not give me the achievement for beating the game on nightmare.
Oh, that's hard. That
was the
soul
final
crushing.
achievement.
Yeah.
That was like a 14-hour achievement.
I remember a long time ago in World of Warcraft, the first Naxxramas, because Naxxramas came twice. There was the original version, and then there was the new release. We were doing world first Kel'Thuzad, and we got him down to 6%, and he despawned out of nowhere, and we raged. And then we tried him again, got him to 0, and the server crashed. And like, it didn't say we killed him. It literally went to 0. Server crashes. Nobody gets credit for it. The world first thing doesn't happen. Dude, this was a different time in my life where I wasn't as calm and jolly as I am now. I wanted to kill people. So I get the achievement thing sucks. But that's it for the news today. I don't know. That was a really weird transition. My brain just stopped working. All right, guys. So we are not recording right now, but if you are on Twitch, we are about to start talking about XCOM 2. So if you would like to be entered into the raffle, which we're going to kind of piece together this week, next
Gonna whip stitch raffle.
Yeah, we'll have better ways of doing it next time. If you want you want to be entered for a chance to win XCOM 2, you will, in chat right now, type in XCOM, and we will jot your name down, and then we'll do a randomizer and pick a winner for who wins the free Steam copy.
We'll give a few minutes. We'll just like have some banter before we get started. Give you a few minutes. Let everybody know. Oh, yeah. That's XCOM.
Yeah, Cheddar's too excited. You can't win it. No, that'll work. So while we're talking about the game, just type in XCOM in the chat, and we will enter your name to win a copy. Oh, now he's more excited.
Cheddar Monkey looks like he's going to get himself a copy of XCOM. Oh!
Did someone else join?
Yeah.
Oh.
XCombo.
Sweet spot.
It has XCOM in it.
Ooh.
Are there any words with XCOM within them? Or any combinations of word? Well, I guess hex combo would be.
Hex combo. Alright.
T-Rex communication.
That's a lot of effort to try to make XCOM.
You know what's really funny? Is I'm not seeing Crumple Dump. And he specifically said, "Oh, I'm not going to go out so I can catch the stream and get me a copy of XCOM. I want XCOM, dude." It's like, I want that game. And I'm not seeing him. I might text him real quick and be like, "Yo, you want to get in this?" He may be out of luck.
So we're going to be doing giveaways every week. So the way our...
Dude, I just made $1. Oh, we'll talk about this later.
The way the giveaways are going to work is we have a whole Humble Bundle account that's for giveaways. Typically, there's one big game, and Cheddar's laughing at you. There's one big game, and then we'll give out any game we talk about. We will give out a code for. So just kind of listen in on any of those. We'll do it every week, and if you are a Patreon backer, you'll have some opportunities for some extra weekly codes that require a little less interaction. Yeah. Ex-commentator. Look at this guy. This is actually more fun. That should be the new rule, is you have to use the game title in some cheeky way.
Cleverly. Once we actually get a system for the raffle up, that'll be the worst thing ever. We'll have to figure out all the clever ones.
All right, so I'm going to start talking about XCOM.
Yep, and we'll keep receiving extra people with their entries for the next couple minutes. We'll close it off at 5 minutes in talking.
Yep, and we'll probably remind people in case they join Latex Commander.
Oh shit.
Whoa, sweet spot got crazy.
Latex Commander, I like that one. I know Cheddar Monkey. That's Eric. I didn't know that was Eric. What's up, man? Good to see you. He makes games too.
Oh, really?
He's working on an RPG. Yeah, I went over and checked it out a couple months ago.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right. And recording in 5, 4, 3, 2. So, Ryan.
I felt like I should have went somewhere else with that. My brain is so slow tonight. It's because everything's different.
Yeah, your laptop crashed, so you're using my tablet to look at chat.
Damn it.
All right. Uh-oh, there's Crumple Dump.
There he is. Crumple Dump. If you want to
right.
get in on this giveaway, you have to have
You have to say XCOM. So while we're talking about it, say XCOM.
in some clever way. Like, if you miss Sweet Spots, Latex Commander has XCOM in it. Pretty
Boom.
good. That's my favorite one so far.
All right, so part of our Humble Bundle is you get a game early.
Yep.
There's a thanks for signing up before like the 4th or 5th of the month. You get a game for paying for your next month of the service.
And from what I've seen, it's usually the big game for the bundle.
So it's sorry, you see me stop every once in a while writing names down. This way sucks.
So we're getting games from Humble Bundle.
We're getting
basically.
games from Humble Bundle. You might have to cut this up a little bit, make it more relevant.
And now we're actually buying an extra bundle so we can give away the games that we're talking about. Originally, we got the Humble Bundle because we wanted to talk about the same games. We had very different libraries, and we wanted to be on the same page so we could both kind of bounce off each other. And it wasn't just like, I'm talking at you, and then you're talking at me type of thing.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that'll happen occasionally still, I'm sure, because there's some games that we want to play that the other doesn't. Like, I played a lot of Pokemon Trading Card Online recently. Yeah. Like, if I wanted to talk about it, you'd be like, okay.
Why am I doing this? So we did Dragon's Dogma 2, was that? Or just Dragon's Dogma was one game. We did Total Warhammer Vermintide.
Yeah, that was just last week.
We talked about.
Yeah.
This week is XCOM. As Cheddar Monkey mentioned, Total Warhammer is next month's game. So we'll be giving all these games away. So we're going to talk about XCOM, or XCOM 2 specifically.
XCOM 2.
So if you're watching live stream, we have some actual live play footage. XCOM 2 is developed by Firaxis Games, who you've seen a lot. They've done quite a few games. This is not an indie developer. Doesn't Firaxis do SimCity?
Don't ask me.
I think they do.
I don't know. I was like, what do they do? Like, don't they do this? I just asked you.
Yeah.
I don't have a computer screen.
No, I know the name. So Firaxis Games made it and was published by 2K Games. 2K is huge. They've published quite a few games. This game came out in February 5th of 2016, so it's right around a year old. Mm-hmm. That was PC. It then came to console September. So this game's been out less than 6 months on consoles, right at the year mark for people on PC. Now, it is PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC, Linux, and Mac.
Sure it's not on Linus? I did see that before.
The notes don't say Linus because it autocorrects yet again. Linux to Linus.
Well, there was another one. Can you see the show notes?
Is it mostly Positive?
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
So as far as ratings go, it got mostly positive on Steam, a 94 from PC Gamer, and 88 from Metacritic, which
is Positive.
And yes, mostly Positive.
There was no L. Positive, wasn't it?
You're right. It's Positive.
Positive.
So basically, it's a turn-based tactics game.
Yes.
So
100%.
You have a mission, and you have typically turns to get something done. It adds a sense of urgency, and you kind of click what you want your person to do: to take cover, to shoot, to use some special abilities. There's a kind of a whole laundry list. That's kind of one part of the game,
and it's surprisingly accessible. You can play the whole game with a mouse if you want, with just a mouse.
Actually, that's true.
You can, I mean, it's easier if you move the camera around a little bit, but literally you can play with only a mouse. So if you have one hand and like a finger, you can play XCOM 2, which is pretty awesome.
There is a story to it, which some parts were kind of cliche-ish. Is that a word?
We're going to say cliche-ish. It's a little bit cliche-ish.
But I like the story so far.
Aliens and stuff.
Like, it gives you some room. There's the actual fighting mode, and then there's a mode where you're building your ship, working on upgrades and stuff like that.
I didn't expect that.
Yeah, I didn't either. It reminded me a lot of Fallout Shelter. Did you play that on mobile? Shelter. So it's kind of the interface almost looks like just a jazzed up version of that even. That added a bunch of serious depth to the game, in my opinion, because like I was doing research and trying to clear out space, and you have to balance resources on your ship.
Yeah.
On top of trying to do recruiting and level up your guys.
It reminded me of Dungeon of the Endless. It's an indie game where you do like, you know, control of resources and power and things like that, and you illuminate new pieces and clear out new areas. I mean, it's not Dungeons of the Endless isn't to that extent, but that's my closest.
Yeah.
Parallel.
By the way, Matthew Mannix on Twitch wants to know where's the other hand if you're only using one hand?
Well, depends how much you like XCOM. Change one letter in XCOM and it's...
Whoa.
Whoa.
Whoa, too far. So there was a researcher, there was an engineer. You could add new functions besides kind of the limited ones you got that allow you to do things faster or give you new things. So let's start with the fighting part. You take turns. It's you, them, and you can kind of pre-set up some actions.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was one, if an enemy goes in your line of sight, you auto shoot.
Overwatch. Which is funny because I watched people play XCOM before Overwatch came out, and I'm like, oh, that's from XCOM.
Yeah. And then there's concealment, which you can take cover, and if the enemy, they kind of indicate why an enemy can see you or how an enemy can see you.
In the first levels, they start you like stealth, concealed.
Yeah.
So they can't see you until you kind of approach their area, and it shows sort of a border of where, like, okay, this is where their line of sight is. Don't go in here. I think it kind of takes the training wheels off eventually on stuff like that.
Yeah, so the thing I liked is you can choose to be stealthy, or you can choose to kind of go in guns blazing. There's obviously pluses and minuses to either. I typically don't like stealth games at all because I feel like the slightest wrong jiggle on the joystick and you're like, you've screwed up the whole level. This game was very forgiving, so I could think about things, and if I broke stealth, it was 9 times out of 10 intentional, which has always been the thing. Is I'm so worried about stealth on a stealth game. Like, I'll hear a sound like the doorbell, or my wife will ask me a question, I'll jump because I'm so intense on this one little thing. I didn't get that problem here, which I liked a lot.
Did any of the aliens creep you out?
No,
slimy.
Like the one that shapeshifts is kind of the faceless. Is that the one?
I don't know. How far did you get? I played like 5 or 6 missions or something.
I did pretty well. I really like this game.
I played like an hour and a half or so.
Yeah.
Like I played an hour earlier to record this, and I played another half hour or so just before I came in.
So your guys have different abilities. So there's different classes, and those classes have different types of weapons and abilities. And as you went through combat, your guys leveled up. And with leveling up, there was 2 skill trees. You had your class, and then each one had a kind of a left or right on the skill tree, so you could do some kind of custom builds towards your playstyle or what things you like. So these are things like there's a little drone. You can have the drone fly around and do things. I went with the drone can do a one-time heal, for example.
I got the heal as well.
And then the sniper.
Side.
Did you ever get the sniper?
I have a sniper.
The sniper can snipe from anybody's viewpoint, basically. I forget the exact terminology that was used. So one of the ones, the snipers are really good, and if one of your other teammates can see it, he can snipe it.
Yeah, I was too busy using the sniper. Like, I was getting him too close, so his only option was to use a pistol. But every time he takes a pistol out, 100% chance to hit.
Yeah.
Marksman. That was pretty awesome.
So overall, I like this game a lot. I'm going to continue playing. I really like the story. I like the gameplay, both from all medics. That would be interesting. Everyone just heals the hell out of each other. I'm not sure you can kill anybody, but you heal the hell out of everybody.
Well, the medic with the drone had an assault rifle.
That's true.
I mean, you're not too vulnerable.
So what were your thoughts?
It was a cool game. Like, I could see getting into it. Generally, when I'm going into a game, I want something that's short that I can finish within a couple hours, which this doesn't feel like it's going to be anything like that. It feels like it's going to get really deep, which for the right person, which is, I think, a large amount of people, this would be something better. It'd be more for your money. Like, I definitely wouldn't want to pay $60 for one of the 4-hour games that I'm getting either, so it's kind of a trade-off. I did kind of like the alien resistance story, but I feel like I should have seen the story from the first one. I feel like I was like missing a little bit of something. Because early on, your first mission, you get this guy in this suit out of this tube, like this big liquid-filled tube. And that's
super
you.
Generic, yeah.
Yeah, that's you. You're the commander. It's like, oh, your body should be atrophied after 20 years.
Which I assume if anyone on chat has played XCOM 1, I'm wondering if is it a continuation of the story? Did you like get captured at the end of XCOM 1?
Yeah, I don't know. And it seems like some references are like, oh, these are bigger and badder than the ones used to be, which you don't see the ones that used to be, but apparently these are bigger and badder. Who knows? It shows like little pictures of the old armor. You can tell it's definitely a little bit different. He just threw me off with his XCOM.
Yeah.
But it felt to me, like I was telling you earlier, it felt like similar to Helldivers, as in you're a resistance fighting against the aliens. It wasn't cheesy like Helldivers was purposely like on the nose, like we're Starship Troopers, join us and be awesome.
Yeah.
This one's more serious about it. And it's like, contact the resistance and people are dying, and you feel like a little bit of attachment to the characters, unlike in Helldivers, but it still had a cool futuristic techie type of alien thing. Like you were talking about there's a scientist in there that can study the different enemies and things and learn things about them and get new upgrades based on them. Like if you study one of the alien guys, you get a mind shield.
Yep.
So he can't like mind control you, which they never did to me. They tried once but failed. But different science things like that are pretty neat. There was like an armor upgrade, which I'm not sure how it worked, if it worked. That was a little unclear. Did you do the armor upgrade?
No, I did autopsies every time, so I got a bunch of gear, and then I forgot to go to the engineer and to build it. So I never actually got any of the upgrades, and I don't think I picked the armor or weapon. No, I did special ammunition, which did more damage.
Gotcha. Yeah, I got some armor upgrade, and it's like all characters can wear this over top of their regular armor, and I thought maybe they'd have like a vest available. I don't know. Maybe it's just automatically attached to it. I don't know. It just seemed like it didn't show me that. But the game is cool. It is definitely cool. Like I enjoyed playing it. I did go in on easy mode because it's like for people who haven't played these types of games, you might want to try it on easy mode. So I was like, okay, like I haven't really tried any of these tactical cover shooter type things. I played old tactics games. I played Shining Force 2 on like Sega
I played Final
Genesis.
Fantasy Tactics,
like old tactics. So it's a little different. But this definitely seems like a step forward from those. And it's cool that your squad leader takes the last move. And when they take their move, the camera kind of gets right behind them and like shows them
does like a
running and
first-person
jumping
version,
over.
yeah.
And the lady had a sword, and that was awesome.
That's my
Because
girl.
you can... There's a cool thing about this. There's a certain radius that you can travel that's in blue. And that's a radius that when you travel that radius, you get a second action. So if you want to travel behind cover, you can overwatch, and then if something moves, you can shoot at it. And then there's a yellow radius that is your dash radius. You can just go all the way out to the yellow. Yep. And then that's your action.
That's your whole turn.
In the lady, she can dash into yellow and sword attack. So she can
if
go
you get the perk,
extra far. Yeah, well, I don't know. I must have had it since like the beginning because I ran into sword radius. Her sword dealt like 6 to 7 damage or something like that. It just one-shotted everything that I hit.
I had it crit,
which
and
was
it
pretty
took
badass.
out the faceless guy.
You know, another thing that I'm thinking of, now that I think of it, a lot of the terrain in this game is destructible.
Yeah,
and it's a
the
cover
walls on buildings,
too.
too.
It's a cover-based game. There was actually a time where there was an enemy behind a wall, and I knew it because I had another person that I positioned it poorly, and the alien ran up to be like able to shoot at me, and luckily it missed. It probably had a 99% chance to hit, but missed for whatever reason. And another guy's action was coming before hers, and I think the alien was going to get an action before her too. So the guy was on the other side of the wall. I just threw a grenade at the wall, and it blew the wall up and killed the alien, but the blast radius wasn't far enough to hit the lady. Like, weird little tactic stuff like that. Like, I wouldn't think of that in any other game. You would think, there's a window on that room, maybe I have to shoot through the window. No, just blow the wall up.
And Cheddar Monkey on Twitch chat says grenades help for people on rooftops, too.
That makes sense.
Which I didn't think about either.
Yeah.
So that's the shooter mode. And then let's talk about the, for lack of better terms, the base mode.
The base or the world map mode?
The world,
a world
I guess
map
it's both.
Mode too.
So you build your base to then go into the world map. Now the world map reminded me of World of Warcraft Warlords with your, I forget what it was called, your little base. You were garrison. There we go. So you were trying to expand your control and influence. You start off in Alaska area. And like I got to the point where I did the communications and it opened up like
Eastern
the whole
U.S.,
Eastern and Mexico.
Yeah.
So I built some contacts there, and it looks like you can eventually try to take, like, if you get deep into this, you can take over the world as far as setting up the resistance. Well, I guess taking it back from the Advent.
Set over mine resistance.
I liked that a lot. There was a balancing between days going by. There was like really big events going for the bad guys that you knew were coming. So you had to balance time passing with those dark events, they called them. And so you had to try to balance things. And a couple times you click a button and let 4 days go by, for example.
Yeah. And that was to try to expedite the other things that are going on in your base. Because like when you set up a new science, it'll say, okay, magnetized bullets is one of them. It's like 19 days if you have a scientist. And if it's not, it's like 20-something days.
Yeah.
That's a long time. And luckily you don't have to do like every combat is a day. There's places where it just wastes time. The clock goes down. It says like 6 days to collect the resources that are here. And the first time I did that, it let me collect the resources. And there was another one. I was like, okay, I'll start collecting the resources here. And it's like, there's a encounter that's popped up.
Yep.
And it's like, we really recommend that you do this encounter.
One said do not recommend skipping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I accidentally skipped it the second time when because I saved and came back in. And I just reopened for my save because I was like, I probably should be making this one.
So it makes you make choices between resources and mission objectives, which I thought was kind of cool because you can't just like, in some games they'll let you just stockpile resources and then just vomit out craziness. This game kind of balances missions. Sometimes, that will help you with your supplies, or you could lose some serious advantages in the future, which I thought was unusually deep for what I thought was initially going to be just like, we're taking over this map.
Just the combat zone is what it seemed like the game was going to be to me.
Yeah, I didn't realize the whole other functions.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep playing this game. 100%. Like a lot of times I'll, after you enlighten me or something, I'll say, I'll give it another hour. I'm straight going to keep playing this game. It's going to enter my rotation for a while.
All right.
I liked a quote from GameSpot about this game. It said, "In the end, XCOM 2 is fantastic, not just because of its refined individual layers, but how seamlessly they interact." Which I thought was actually fairly accurate. And like you switched before, and as Cheddar Monkey pointed out on Twitch, it's resources versus people. A lot of your times, your choices. Do you save some people, get people, or do you get resources? And I had to at one point make the choice of resources because I was out, and it was like you can't do jack and shit. And I still had because you get monthly income, but I had ballooned through that, not understanding the resources component of it, and so it was really kind of tough decisions. But I love the hell out of this game. I'm gonna go ahead and rate it 8.5 out of 10.
You love it, and you're rating it at 8.5.
Well, for me,
you
like,
need more time or what?
Well, no, because there's like I love it, but there's not like I'm obsessed. Like Titanfall 2 is a 10. But it's 8.5. It's a solid 8.5. It's called
Titanfall 2.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in the name.
Okay, fine. I'll go 9. I can comfortably go 9 then.
9?
It's 9. Yeah, it's the new movie. What about you?
It definitely wasn't a bad game. If it were smaller dose, I could see myself playing it to finishing it. But because it's such a big game, I'm kind of like I don't really want to get into that because my time is pretty sparse as it is. But I would give the game like an 8. It's a good game. It's definitely a good game. I didn't feel like anything was. I was like dreading any part of it. Like when I went back to play it, I was like, I don't mind like continuing this game, and maybe I'll leave it on the computer to occasionally play around here or there because they're not like super long rounds. If over a long course of time that I just do a round here or there, as long as I can kind of remember the mechanics, I can see like maybe playing through it that way. But yeah, I still think it's a good game too. I gave it a pretty high score as well.
So check it out. If you don't win as one of our Patreon giveaways, one of our Twitch giveaways, you can find it on sale all over the place for every place that it's 60 full price. But I saw on GOG you could get it for 40, for example. So I highly recommend this game.
Steam sales knock things like this in half all the time.
Yeah.
Put it on your wish list and they'll let you know when it's cheap.
Yep. So check it out. Let us know what you think.
All right. The time is at hand.
The time is at hand for the raffle. I'm talking about what I'm doing.
So, how many names we got?
I'm about to count.
We got like Like 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 names total.
Since there's not very many names, go over the names and make sure that everybody that wants to be into the raffles is in it.
Yep. So let me expand chat a little. I wrote some of these down from shorthand here. So we got Terminator 100. We got Cheddar Monkey. We got Sweet.
Cheddar Monkey doesn't want to be in it.
Cheddar Monkey doesn't want to be in it. Oh, I thought he did.
He said scratch him out. I think he has it.
Sweet Spot, a non-tech, Company Sphere, Matthew, what's his? I can't read my own handwriting. Vanex, New Killer Plane, and Crumple Dump. So we have 7 names.
It's a pretty good chance to win the game.
Yeah.
You have a 1 in 7 chance to win this game. So we'll have to put the your address is on the screen.
My address.
What is he talking about? Oh, your mail. It's right in front of the.
Oh, sorry.
Got him.
Wow, that was a little thing I wrote my. Yeah. So there you guys go.
Too good. You put it right in the camera. Oh man,
that's a special little something right there. All right.
Well, if you want to send us something, if it's nice, okay.
Terminator is going to be 1, Sweet Spot 2, a non-tech 3, Company Share 4, Matthew 5, New Killer 6, Crumple Dump 7.
Yeah, random number generator.
It's for D&D, but
RNG. Here we go.
So we can do 1d7, and we're going to roll. Drum roll.
Keep rolling. Keep rolling. Roll it.
And that didn't work right.
Nice. We're so good at this.
Because it did 7d1. Hold on. We test this. None of this counts.
It doesn't matter. None of this matters.
Okay, that worked. So we're gonna reset. And by the way, we'll have the raffle system up for next time.
Yeah, we'll figure it out because we're doing this every week. There's gonna be a different game every week. So if you didn't win, come back. We'll have another game for you.
Survey says 1d7 was a 7.
Crumple
Dump wins the giveaway.
He got it. Oh, that's hilarious. Well, that's an easy one to give to the person.
Yeah.
So we'll get in touch with you shortly. I have this on my account, which I don't have the computer on in front of me. It's screwed up.
Yep. But
we'll send you that copy over shortly after this cast is over, and you will have XCOM 2.
That is great. And thanks everyone who did tune in for the giveaway. Like I said, we're going to keep doing this, and we'll do some additional giveaways because we get like 8 games a month, and some of those we're not going to discuss online. So we'll do some secondary giveaways.
Yeah, and some of those are going to the Patreon people too.
Yeah. So
it's hilarious because we know him, and he purposely canceled his plans tonight to be in chat in order to be part of the giveaway.
Yeah, that's why it's funny. And I rolled on screen just to make sure there's no shenanigans.
Yeah.
But thanks for listening, guys, and we are going to continue the rest of the podcast.
Finish it off with our studio business.
All right. Did I export? Yes, I did. All right, so this is the part of the show where we talk about our personal projects. So half the reason we do the podcast is to give out my address, and then the other half is to talk. No, seriously though, talk about games, and the other half is to talk about our projects because that was kind of the motivation to do this in the first place.
He said, "I'm out of here. I don't want to listen to you guys anymore."
No, we're just done with the raffle. So we're going to, we still got one more segment to go. Ryan, what is going on in Studio Dombrowski?
This week, my computer took a crap. As if you're listening to this episode, you already know that. And it happened last Thursday, which was the designated get together with Kale and work on game ideas day.
Yep.
And we worked on it for about 2.5, 3 hours or so, and then the computer crapped on me. So I'm gonna have to be fixing that in the next week. But I did get some done because a lot of it was handwritten what I was working on.
Yep.
Right now, I'm expanding Response with Kale. So we're gonna take Response, which is the 2-day jam game that we did. That was like an art game experiment type of thing about moral decisions and how decisions are concrete and you can't change the past type of deal. It's pretty deep. So yeah, we got good feedback from it, and we wanted to keep going. So this week, we last week we had some extra interactions, and we want to make the interactions have more of a chain reaction type of thing, like the movie Crash or whatever, like where something affects everything. And we finally got the basis for one of the zones finished. So there's going to be, I believe, 4 interactions that happen regardless of when you arrive. There's going to be one that's time sensitive that changes the future if you affect it. There are other ones that aren't time sensitive that change the future as well, but there's one that if you're in the area, it's the only way you'll know that time sensitive thing has happened. Otherwise, you miss out on it. So when you spawn different parts in the game, you'll be like, this wasn't here before, or that's why this is this way type of thing.
Yep.
And then you'll realize it. So we have all the interactions for one area. There's going to be a total of like, I want to say 9 zones. So that's 10, 12% of the way or whatever, 11%. The plan is to get all the interactions mapped out for all the different zones, keep all my notes together and figure out where they're going to chain to what else, and then start coding it, putting it all in. Kale, he's working on art and music. He has a lot of the stuff written down. He said he already worked on one of the animations for it, which is going to be a bear, which is something in the game that even you can play the whole game and never see it. But we're taking a lot of these things into consideration because it's going to be a short game with a lot of replayability is the plan.
Yeah, different interactions.
You'll have to go through a big chain to realize that, the whole game is different now. Now that I'm at this action, I can't do these things, but it's opened up these things. That's the whole idea. So that's what we're working on. And that's what I plan to continue working on. There's actually some sweet news, which I don't know if you heard. I check up on my games like once a week or so, just to see if anything's been happening. And I clicked on my itch account, and I noticed it shows a graph. Like when I go into the dashboard, and it shows like how many views and downloads and stuff. And I was like, that bar looks bigger than normal. Like the last couple of days, the bar is like really big. And I looked at it, and in Response, got like 30 downloads one day, 69 another day, and today it's in the 50s.
What the hell?
I don't know what happened. So
well, I know it got linked on a gaming site, right?
Yeah, some site, but that was like a week ago. It was a while back. And just out of nowhere, it seems like there's this surge. And I don't know if somebody posted like a Reddit post or what. So if you happen to listen to this podcast, let me know if you may have had a hand in this. Let's see. Let's refresh it now. And as we were on here, somebody bought it. Somebody spent $1 for it.
Oh, nice.
So I sold a copy of it because it says like suggested price $1. Like, but you can get it for free. I don't care. Download it for free. It's a jam game. It now has 191 total downloads and 476 views, and most of them were within the last few days. Like I said, 69 downloads yesterday, which
69,
was
dude.
That's just it's crazy. Like that's a lot of download. That's more than all my other games collectively. Like I think even through Ludum Dare, when people were downloading and playing the game because of that competition, I don't think I got that many through Ludum Dare.
Hey, good man.
It's definitely awesome. It makes me feel like
Sweet Spot says, "Yo, we millionaires
it's
now."
It's a masterpiece. Yeah, I got $1, so that's awesome. That's the dream, right? To get people to buy something that you're working on.
Yeah.
And for this game, it takes 190 downloads to make $1. So what if I got 100,000 downloads? I mean, that's
$10 or whatever the math is.
It also kind of pushes home that it's worth continuing to work on, because if something is crappy, which I felt like it wasn't that good, but I guess people are their own harshest critics, that people will stop having interest in it, they won't check it out, and other people will tell other people about how bad it is. I mean, I'm guessing wherever this was posted, there's probably something like some forums and people commenting on it and whatnot. You can do that in itch, but nobody did. So I don't think it was from itch.
Yeah, it's
I think
weird.
it's from some other source.
I wonder if it got featured or something.
Yeah, it's not through itch though.
Yeah.
Because people in itch would definitely be commenting on it because you can comment on all the games. It's just really strange. And only got one new follower on itch. Well, only one. I got one new follower on itch, which is sweet. But it just seems, I don't know, it seems kind of random and kind of awesome. Like, imagine if this happens more often. I mean, that would be sweet. But anyway, I'm going to keep working on that after I fix this flipping computer, which luckily I know how to fix computers, and it looks like either a memory or hard drive issue, so I can get it fixed relatively cheap. It's just a speed bump in the road. Around this time is the same time that all my business expenses roll back around. So I got $500 or so of stuff to pay for there, which luckily I have a lot of it already. And thanks to Patreon, a big chunk of that is taken care of because I've had Patreon for a few months. So yeah, helping on Patreon is like insanely helpful. I don't waste any of that money. Like that money is specifically for business expenses, and that's exactly where it's going to go. It's going to basically keep my website up. Yep. Like it's pretty much paid for the website at least, and that's friggin' awesome. So a big thanks to all the Patreon backers.
Covered most of the podcast hosting too.
Yeah, it's been doing that as well, and it's only like a little bit from a few people. Like it's like $1 a week here, like $1 a week there. A couple people are like $5 a week. Like my mom, she gives $5 a week, but yeah, it adds up. So yeah, I very much appreciate it. The people that are backing on Patreon, and that's why I want to give you extra stuff. That's why I give you extra podcast episodes early. I really do appreciate it. But that's pretty much all I've been working on. I know a lot. You said a lot's been going on for you. The Ninja Fat Man also is making games. If you were listening to the early podcast, he was tinkering with streaming and whatnot, and eventually he went to a convention with me, and he's been hanging around me, and he's like, that seems like it'd be pretty cool. Let me try to make some games.
I got ideas.
So now he's been working on some stuff. So what's up?
So after kind of bouncing around a couple projects and like not getting where I wanted to get, I had an idea for just a simple puzzle platformer that I'm currently titled Rollout. So if you haven't heard, yes, dude, me and my homies.
There's a Yu-Gi-Oh card called Rollout. I almost took a picture and sent it to you.
Nice,
because I was sorting.
So the whole thing is you're a robot and you have these different modes you can change into that you help solve the level. You're going to start off with one mode, you'll unlock a second, third, and fourth, and then there's as you use these modes, there's energy that's drained, and you have to get energy. So that's the whole puzzle thing to use all these modes. So I, a week ago, had one mode completely solid and kind of figured out a second. So I had a very productive week. So I was going to do an underwater mode, but I figured that was kind of dumb. So I made a flight mode instead that is very energy intensive to not just cheat through content, but useful. Mm-hmm. I also, at this point, all 4 modes are mechanically in a good place. They just now need tweaks. Like collisions, I need to modify some collisions a little bit. Like the missiles, they don't hit pixel perfect. They technically go like 6 pixels into the thing before it registers a collision because it's based on where it's where the meetup. So those are easy fixes. I just need to do them. Mm-hmm.
Put it earlier in the step. Put it in a begin step.
Yeah,
and it will probably collide before.
It's a good idea. I also started the energy system, so I wanted a way of balance it so you don't just use one mechanic to just cheese your way through the puzzle. So I started the energy system. Still not sure how I want it to work, if it's just going to recharge with time or like when you do certain things you'll get energy, and I talk with my hands, so anyone watching the camera, I'm going fantastic right now. So I'm still trying to work that out, but I have the functionality built into it. So right now every mode has its energy. Right now as you use the advantages of those modes, everything uses up energy, and when you're not in the mode, it recharges, which I don't know if that's going to stay that way, but it's there. I also created a patrol function just to have literally guys just go back and forth, which I made it a pretty simple function so that way I could easily apply it elsewhere. So this week, things I want to accomplish is the energy system is very janky. It is way more lines of code than it needs to be. And so I want to compress that down and just turn it to a script that's going to be a little easier to insert places, as opposed to right now, all 4 functions have about 20 lines of similar code to handle energy. Or I could just make it one script and then pop the script in. So
yeah, scripting is glorious.
Yes, it is. I also want to rework the patrol system. I went to from Florida to Iowa to get to Maine. I actually built functionality to determine left or right instead of just using positive and negative variables, which I don't know why I did that. I learned something by doing it, but yeah. And then the rest of it is just cleaning up the code in general. Like a lot of it's sloppy. There are some shortcuts I'd forgotten about or didn't know that I want to use now because it'll just make it cleaner to lay out. Also put in some more comments. It helps me. I comment the hell out of my code just because it made sense when I wrote it, and I may go 10 systems deep and have to come back to something.
Believe me, I know. Suburban Scavengers, the step event is almost 500 lines long.
That's insane.
It's nuts, yeah. So, like, there's tons of comments. Like, okay, now I can search victory, and it'll bring me to the victory comment that has the victory code. So, yeah, commenting, very important. Just like working in any other, like, art-based thing, group things together that are similar, and comment things. Very helpful.
I did also post on YouTube, and I shared it on social media. I don't know what to call it, an early preview of the game. It's literally like I have squares for art that are just placeholders for the future, and just showed off the basic 4 functions, right? So how things fly, the wall crawling, which was, for me, kind of hard to figure out. But once I figured it out, I was like, this was not as hard as it probably should have been. It's actually figured out a way to base it off the flight code, and you just have to hold the button and be near a wall, and then it works. And the cool thing is, if you leave the wall, like if the wall's to your right and you're wall crawling, if you hit left, you'll fall off the wall, which was an unintentional function that I'm glad happened. Like I was like, oh, I thought I was gonna have to like specifically write that. I don't. Yay! So that made me pretty happy. Besides that, it's just cleaning up stuff, and I've also found it's really. I have a whole bunch of things on the screen as far as telling me states of things. If you're actually watching Twitch, you can see a little bit of the game itself. It's being weird, though. I put a lot of things on the screen to show the states, energy, the patrol, the distance it's going back and forth.
Code, just so you can
things so I can keep it straight in my head, which is kind of nice. But I am super happy about the progress, because it literally went from like 1% done to like 20% done in 1 week, and a lot of it was just kind of I set up some ideas, I figured out some things, and then just executed it, which I was really happy about. So I'm inspired, if you will, to keep doing this, which makes me happy.
Hell yeah, I'm down to keep checking on your progress.
Yep. So that's pretty much it for me.
All right. I see your little bullets there.
Yep.
Give me back my bullets.
All right, guys. So now we just do kind of some plugs for the other podcasts in the Gun and Geek Network that we're part of.
Yeah, how are we gonna do that?
Oh, you can't see the screen. Maybe I'll just read the whole thing.
Just read it and I'll interject if I can.
This one's pretty straightforward.
And then I already got one for the and. I'm Ryan Dombrowski, Game Development Studio, Doombrowski. Together we are Doom Ninja, and I already know the end part.
Oh, the end.
See?
Okay.
That's the good thing about doing it a bunch of times.
All right. So you know,
Bullet.
it's time for the podcast plug.
For keeping all the podcast fluid in its reservoir.
Oh, and I can knock out the rest.
Yeah.
It's going to be Cody's podcast, by the way.
Nice. And then if I figure out something that'll go after whatever you just said, I'll just tag it in there.
Okay. So anyone who's still watching, at this point we record the intro after the fact, because the intro is slightly different every week. We try to add a little humor element into it. And also, as part of the GonnaGeek.com family of podcasts, we like to promo them too. So we do a little shout out at the end. That's a kind of a weekly segment, if you will.
You scratch my back, I'll ask why. Isn't that how it goes? Or no, I'll scratch yours.
So, Sweet Spot, you said bullets are your one weakness?
Bullets! My only weakness!
Yeah.
That cracked me up the first time I saw it. Yeah. It was in Harold and Kumar.
Yeah. Is that what? Oh, that's what that's from. Yeah. I was like, what the? That's so random. But no, I got it.
And then Sandra just said, bullet. Yeah. Because in Enter the Gungeon, there's a gun that shoots bullets. That's the word bullet. It's a lowercase r, and it says bullet instead of making a gun sound.
Nice.
Bullet. And one of the streamers I watch, when he was playing a lot of that game, he would just keep saying it, like randomly. He would just be in the middle talking and he'd bullet.
All right, ready?
All right.
It's time for the podcast plug.
For keeping all of the podcast fluid in its reservoir.
Game Life Balance US Podcast. By the way, if you're watching the stream, this is where I screw it up like 90 times.
This is how you draft a podcast.
Yeah.
You use podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And then you know how the whole podcast is going to go.
Game Life Balance US Podcast Episode 37. Gamers on Global Politics, Activism, and the Billionaire Class. Cody returns from the wild...
I'm going to take the billionaire class. I want to learn how to be a billionaire.
Shit. Cody returns from the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, to have a frank discussion with John about global politics, activism, and the billionaire class.
Frank discussions. Sounds like about hot dogs.
Yeah. Hear them discuss why people should approach politics from the perspective of strategy gamers and how politics is like a game in more ways than you may think.
So, Trump is the alien overlord, and we're XComming into Trump. We're XComming in. That's a thing now.
Yeah, sure. That is the jankiest one we've ever done.
Dude, perfect. It's perfect.
Especially for Cody, because friend of the show, Cody.
Yep. That's the reason we're on the Gun and Geek Network. He actually suggested, because he's part of the Gun and Geek Network. He's like, why don't you apply? Your podcast is of good enough quality. So I did, and here we are.
All right, guys. So that's actually... No, we got the intro to do.
Yeah.
Boom. Ready?
Yep. Hi, I'm Ryan Dombrowski of game development studio Doombrowski.
I'm Nathan, YouTuber and rookie game dev, the Ninja Fat Man.
And together we are Doom Ninja.
A podcast about all things gaming, from streaming to development, new games and old, AAA to indie games.
And Latex Commanders.
Wow, nice. Who said Latex Commanders the first time?
I don't remember, but it was awesome.
Who was it? Hold on.
I think their name was in yellow.
Sweet Spot. So I'm going to give Sweet Spot a copy of Oh Dear.
Okay.
He got us a name, and it's a pretty crappy game. So actually, it's a really crappy game.
You gave us something useful. Here's something awful. Waste your life on this.
Yes, fairly accurate. All right, guys. So that's it for this week's episode. We really appreciate everybody who showed up. Congrats to who won the
Crumple Dump.
Crumple Dump won. Thanks we got 4 new followers today.
Nice.
That's nice. Thanks, guys, for doing that for us. And we'll do this every Monday. We'll have further giveaways.
Yeah. Next week, I'm thinking, I'm debating. I'm on the fence. I want to play Steam World Dig or whatever it is, but it's similar to XCOM.
Oh, is
so
it really?
I don't know. It's a tactics game, but it has more to do with like ricocheting bullets and things off of things. So I don't know, like, since you're in XCOM mode now, if you just want to like keep playing XCOM and not play something that's so similar, so you don't feel like so biased towards one or the other, or just go for it.
Do you like platformers?
I mean, platformers are fine.
Because Hollow Knight, I think you might like.
Hollow Knight.
It's it's in the bundle. It's the kind of black and white.
Oh, Cobalt was playing that.
Yeah.
Was he? No, he couldn't have been. He was playing like an early access one. Like it had like one level. Anyway, we'll figure it out. Yeah, I'll look into that one.
So Cheddar Monkey's asking if we played Terraria.
I have not played Terraria.
I've heard of it, but I have not played it.
It's like 2D Minecraft.
Oh, that's why I've heard of it and not played it. Yeah. Ugh. I'm not a fan. I am not a Minecraft guy. I've tried and just I can't get into it. But all right, thanks everyone for watching. We will talk to you soon and see you later.
See ya next Monday.